What is spot color? A spot color or solid color is any color generated by an ink that is printed using a single run. Whereas a process color is produced by printing a series of dots of different colors. So why do we need spot colors? Because we can see enormous range of colors. So, we need to be able to create a special ink that accomplishes a color that we have our heart set on, that we cannot approximate with CMYK. And using a spot color can sometimes simplify printing. When you are using spot colors, spot colors and varnishes can enhance a printed piece. Increase aesthetic appeal on high-profile projects. Using spot colors can simplify some printing problems by avoiding registration issues. Can sometimes save you money. The logo printed in just one color. You don't have to worry about any kind of registration issues, there's only one ink. It's going to be on one plate, and going to hit the paper at once. But this logo version that renders in CMYK, each color is applied separately. So, if there's any misregistration, you're going to see that offset between the colors. Now, modern-day presses aren't plagued with registration issues that we saw many years ago. So you're never going to see quite as far off. But, if you want to make sure you don't have to even worry about registration issues, if you print that logo in one color, it can't possibly have registration issues. Sometimes using a spot color can actually save you money. But of course, spot colors can increase the job cost because you're adding another unit on the press. You're using more ink, so I think you would expect that to increase the price. Price will increase, but it means you get that spot that you want, and you know that would go a little dull if you tried to render it in CMYK. In Illustrator, when you go to create a new swatch, you have a number of reference guides to pick from. So, here I am in Illustrator. When I start making a new color swatch on swatches under swatch libraries, when I click it and choose color books, I get a really long list of possibilities. So, what are all of those for? You might be curious about what they refer to. ANPA is used in the newspaper environment. DIC, which is created by Danippon Ink, is used in Asia. And it has some interesting components. It has what they called theme series, including Japanese traditional colors. So, those are colors that have been used throughout history in Japan. And French traditional colors and Chinese traditional colors. So, that's sort of an interesting approach to create sort of a theme, a dedicated palette for certain types of projects. Focal tone is actually not a spot reference guide, it's a process reference guide, meaning it uses CMYK ink. And you'll see that used predominantly in Britain. HSK is a German reference system, and it has both spot and process components available to you in Illustrator and InSign. And you'll notice that there's HKSE, K, N, and Z, and for each one of those there are two components: spot and process. So, the E is for continuous stationery. The K is for gloss art paper. The N is for natural paper, meaning sort of standard stock, and then Z is for newsprint. So, what this implies is that the recipes are a little bit different, in order to get better rendition on these different kinds of paper. Pantone, even though we see it used widely in the US, it's not used just in the US, it's really used around the world. And there is more than one Pantone book, so when you look at the pull down in Illustrator or InSign you have whole list of Pantone possibilities. And it's important to know that, not all of them really refer to spot color. Toyo, those are used in Japan. Toyo 94 uses CMYK values for on-screen rendering. It's not a processed book, it's a spot book, but in trying to show you the ink on screen it's looking at CMYK values. So, you'll find that that's sort of like the old Pantone values in older Adobe applications, it's close but it's not exact. And in the later releases, use lab values to show on screen. TrueMatch is a purely process reference, so if you know you're always going to print process jobs, TrueMatch is a great resource. Because then you have a printed component that you can compare, and then you can invoke that from your pull downs, as you're adding colors to your InDesign or Illustrator documents.